everyone, Ken's Wilds here with Wild Child Horsemanship, and welcome to episode 1 of our foal handling series. It's officially the time of year where we finally get to start seeing what our mares have been cooking for the past 11 to 13 months. With that being said, there's a lot of questions that come around foals. How do you handle them? How do you train them? And there's a lot of different ways that people do it. But first things first, I want to introduce you guys to the foal that is going to be mainly featured throughout this series. This foal is going to be Chaos, and it is actually Delilah's first ever foal. There's typically two different ways people tend to handle their foals. First off, we have what's called hands-off training. And so hands-off basically means, that foal comes out, you get it vet checked and all that, and then after that, you pretty much don't touch the foal till it's 2 or 3 years old. Once it's weaned, it goes out to pasture and it essentially just lives there, and you don't touch it, you don't do anything, you don't handle it, right? Then you have what's called hands-on training. And so hands-on training is essentially the opposite of that, right? The second that foal hits the ground, you're touching it, you're loving on it, you're working on halter braking, picking up all 4 feet, and then you're going to train it very hands-on, pretty much throughout the entire horse's, first few years of life. At Wild Child, we tend to do a mix of both, right? We kind of start off with the hands-off training to some extent. We start trying to create, draw, and build that connection, and then we start moving on to the hands-on training. And typically with a foal, basically all we're going to do is we're going to work on picking up all 4 feet, halter braking, and just the basic things that they need until they do reach a year or two, and then we'll actually start doing more rigorous training with them. But for now, we just want to give them time to grow up, time to be a horse, because there could be a lot of trauma involved when it comes to foal handling, and we don't want to traumatize horses. I have spent my entire life working on not traumatizing horses and actually working with horses to overcome their trauma. If you have not already, don't forget to check out my book, Find Your Fight, Trauma Recovery in Horses and Humans. That actually goes all about trauma in horses, neurology, the brain side of things, and I think you guys will really like that, so definitely go and check that out. So without a doubt, let's get started.
So what I don't want to do is just start grabbing Chaos and kind of like forcing her to be with me. I want to actually start just sitting with them while they eat and letting Chaos grow a bit more familiar with me. All right, so you'll see here that just a couple weeks of doing this, Chaos is actually already starting to approach me, which is something I want her to do. I want her to feel comfortable coming up and interacting with me of her own free will. After sitting with Delilah and Chaos during feeding time for several weeks, Chaos starts to interact with me, not just approach. So right here, she's starting to sniff my legs, sniff my lap, and she actually proceeds to continue to sniff my face. So you'll see what I'm doing right about here is I'm blowing into her nostrils. This is a way that she can become a little bit more familiar with my scent. And nose kisses are never a bad thing either. You'll see that she pretty much just hangs out with me for about 5-10 minutes, and this is something that I truly want. What I find remarkable and shows great progress is she actually decided to come and lay down right next to me, and so I actually lay down with her. When a horse lays down, this is a sign that they feel safe, they feel comfortable with their surroundings, and this is proof that Chaos is actually starting to grow a lot more comfortable with me. She even goes on to let me start petting her butt while she's laying down, so overall, I'm really proud of this progress. The other thing you can do to help the foal grow more familiar with you is just your basic everyday chores, cleaning out water troughs, mucking stalls, just all kinds of things that you typically do in your day-to-day life so that foal can start seeing who you are, your body movements, your body language, and kind of letting their curious side get the best of them. You'll see here that Chaos is kind of watching me from the very corner of the screen. She's watching what I'm doing. You can see she's a little bit curious that she actually starts to approach me a little bit more. And again, these are all just things I'm doing to pique her curiosity. I'm doing them anyway. Why not make it a little bit of a longer process to continue just letting Chaos grow more familiar with me? A key thing to remember is to focus on the mare more than you do the actual foal. Okay, you can do this by grooming the mare, lunging the mare, just taking care of the mare. Because if the mare is comfortable with you and the mare's heart rate is nice and slow and she's calm and collected when she's around you, the foal is going to start to realize that you are not a threat. You are not something to be afraid of. So you'll see right here, I'm just doing my basic care for Delilah, and Chaos starts to explore the grooming supplies that I'm using, which is okay. I want her to be curious. I want her to kind of investigate the things that I'm using and the things that I'm doing, because again, this is going to help her grow more familiar with me, grow her confidence a bit, and start growing that connection.
Now that we've shown you guys a little bit with baby Chaos, we're going to head inside, talk some training theories, techniques, science, and more. first things first, we have something called imprinting. Now, imprinting is basically a way that you get the baby used to you, accustomed to you, you love on them, you rub on them, you pet on them, and all of these things. And what this does is this is going to, first off, get the horse familiar with you, right? The first thing that they get, the first experience they have with you, is you loving on them, rubbing them, petting them, all of these things that a mother would typically do, right? Because the mothers will mutually groom them, the mothers will take care of them, the mothers will have that sort of physical connection. And so by being able to, pet this horse and love on this baby, the second they hit the ground, you're already going to start creating a positive association between humans and the baby. The other thing this is going to do is typically when you first have a foal, you want to have it blood tested, you want to check it for signs of illnesses or anything that may be going wrong, right? And so by being able to imprint and do all of these things with a newborn foal, you're essentially setting it up for the future, right? And what's going to happen is this foal's curiosity is going to start coming out, right? It's going to start showing a little bit more because horses are naturally curious animals. And so if they just see you around with mama and mama's not really afraid or terrified of you, then the baby is also not going to be afraid or terrified of you the more you do it, right? They're going to be more accustomed to you, and eventually they're going to start approaching you as well. They're going to start being like, oh, the human's here, let's go have some fun. Oh, the human's here, this means good things, right? And so they're going to actually start approaching you willingly. And this is something that I really, really like because I don't want any horse to be with me because they feel like they have to, because they're afraid of the consequences. I want a horse to be with me because they want to be with me. And it's the same whether I'm working with untouched horses, dead broke horses, or foals. There's two main things that I want to point out. First things first, horses are naturally curious animals. They come out of the womb being curious. So like how I was talking about grooming the mare and letting the foal kind of investigate. If they want to play with the brushes, let them play with the brushes. If they want to kind of like approach you, let them approach you. Thing is you want this horse to see you as something positive, as something fun. And they're going to grow very curious of you and the things that you're doing. So let them be curious. The second thing I want to point out is that horses were not meant to be in domestication. Ever. Obviously they are, but the first thing that a baby horse is going to think the second they hit the ground isn't humans. The first thing they're going to think is food, taking a poop, walking, all of these things that are natural to the horse, okay? And so you're going to have those foals that are a little bit more social, a little bit more curious, and then you're going to have those that are a little bit more skittish, and that's kind of what chaos is like. And this is a good reminder that even though this foal has never had any negative human experience, they're still a little bit cautious of you because you're not natural to them, right? We kind of came in, made horses domestic, and, even foals, even baby horses, they're not used to you. They still have to grow familiar with you, even though they've never had a reason to dislike you. So with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed the first episode in the foal handling series. Definitely check out some of our other courses throughout the Wild Child Academy. We've got a lot of educational opportunities for you. Don't forget to check out our YouTube, our podcasts available wherever you listen to podcasts, our Facebook, Instagram. We also have our merchandise. We've got quite a bit, so definitely go and check that out. Stay strong, stay true, stay wild, and we'll see you all next time.